Today we're going to be talking about school uniforms. School uniforms in some places are on the up. Why do we all need to wear school uniforms? I'll tell you why. It's power and control from the system. If people that come from schools are moulded in a particular way, then they're much more easy to control. What is the technology that the school uses in order to master this moulding together? In its arsenal, the school has many different things. Apart from the school rules, it also has uniforms. You don't have your tie button done up, your shirt's hanging out, so what? Really? If you're a genius, does that really matter? If you're a musician, does that really matter? But no, you need to be trained how to wear a little school uniform so that when you go into the workspace and you propagate the same system, you stick to the same rules that you learnt in the school, but you apply it to the business. The society is a construct of something or of someone, whether that's elite or interdimensional entities, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that you recognize that the system is not healthy. It's something that causes depression. It's something that doesn't really do very much for the human race. Schools claim that school uniforms help discipline and help academia. And of course, we should all listen to schools because schools speak the truth. I mean, we wouldn't want an institution in charge of our children that didn't speak the truth now, would we? I'd like to tell you that that statement that it improves discipline and it improves academia is absolutely wrong. There have been a lot of tests, some say yes, some say no, but overall the tests seem to point and suggest to the fact school uniform doesn't help in any way propagate what it is that the school thinks it's in the business of teaching and propagating itself. What a big lie. Now, obviously, we can't be thinking that the school is in the business of lying now, can we? In fact, everything that the school teaches you, I would say, is probably based or comes from a lie. A lot of the textbooks don't tell the truth. They have a skewed perception of reality. They miss out large chunks of history. They're sort of propaganda books. Nothing tells you about what your country has done if it's been involved in large amounts of rape, pillaging, slavery, and other such degenerate and disgusting actions. The school believes, or the school sells the idea, that uniforms create better environments for the students, it creates better academic gains, and it creates discipline. Discipline is not really something you can teach somebody. Discipline is a little bit like kindness or patience. It's a real form of education and it comes from within. You yourself have to teach yourself what discipline is. No one else can do it for you. What they mean by discipline is obedience. And when they say academic gain, what they actually really mean is that you fulfill the criteria of taking the place of people that have specific jobs that require a certain amount of mental ability and agility for the system to continue to keep getting taxes. Now, the school uniform takes away individuality, power, and control. Those three things are needed for you to progress spiritually and consciously. Isn't it strange that the school, which you would have thought was in the business of getting you to a conscious or spiritual level, is actually hampering it? The second lie, uniforms take away or relieve pressure from people that don't have the right type of clothes in school. Now, this is a problem. This is a problem because some people have and some people don't. And society puts a lot of pressure on people to have the right things. You've got all those adverts of Nike, Adidas or Puma coming out, and people, young kids, feel that they need to wear those things. Making people wear school uniforms is not solving the problem. It's a treatment for the problem. What you need to do is you need to stop people believing that these makes and models are important. You need to educate the people. That's what school, ironically, should be doing. It should be educating the people so that they understand that they're being manipulated by marketing campaigns. But the schools don't do that. The schools don't fulfill their job. What the schools do is they just say, okay, you can't wear those clothes here. We'll put a ban on everyone and then we'll make everyone wear the same clothes. That's not educating people. That's making people more stupid. And if you think that everyone's stupid and they can't be educated in this way, then the system is corrupt. School is supposed to be maturing students. When you have someone who's from 14 to 18, these are almost men or men. By making them wear little school uniforms is infantilizing them. Infantilizing people stops their mental or their spiritual growth. Those people of 14 to 18, if there was a war tomorrow and we are running out of men, people wouldn't blink twice if those people signed up, just as they did in the First and Second World War. I don't see how you can make someone who's prepared and has the capacity and has been in the past asked to fight and die for their country, to infantilize them and make them wear school uniforms in order to control them. I think that it would be much better if you started treating young people with a little bit more respect. You can't just give respect to young people. You have to get them to earn it. Otherwise, you're going to end up with the mess that we have at the moment, which is to do with the disorder and undisciplined nature of the young people. That's because they're not being educated correctly. Education doesn't mean softly, easy. I think that education actually is probably quite a painful process. Learning isn't always easy. Learning is not always fun. The School of Hard Lives is an education program in itself, and a lot of people cry from it. And this idea of freedom anyway, that, giving young people freedom isn't even understood. Freedom is not doing things with your physical body. Freedom comes from your uncluttered perception of life. Something that causes unfreedom is actually society and technology and television and ads and all of this other mess. School stops freedom. Freedom of mind is something very difficult to attain. You need to have a lot of self-discipline. You need to have a lot of study. You need to have a lot of experience. You need to have analysis, critical analysis. You need to be able to read large quantities of information and be able to discern what bits are real and what bits aren't. Freedom for me is more in the mind than it is ambulatory. School doesn't prepare you for life. School does prepare you for university, and university doesn't prepare you for life. So either way, you're going to lose. Kids know something's up. Kids don't always work from the brain, they work from the emotions. A kid knows when something's good, when something's bad. They've got a more heightened sense. They're more sensitive than we are, especially in their teenage years. And they're rebelling, they're reacting against something. Something's not right. The government and the adults aren't giving the kids what they need. They're not understanding what's going on. They're not understanding how the world works. So with the school uniform, someone else is deciding what clothes you should be wearing. They're infantilizing you. Colours are so important, and colourful clothes are so important. If you look at the Queen of England, she goes through a rainbow every single week. And if you like that, here are some heads of state or heads of government also wearing very nice, lovely coloured clothes. Clothes are important and colours are important. Telling someone that they have to wear a particular colour based on a lie that it helps with their academia and disciplines them is not conducive to society and does not put trust into the students of the school in order to believe in the system. Don't you think that the teachers could be spending their time a little bit better than telling 18-year-old or 16-year-old students to tuck their shirts into their trousers, when the teachers could be paid to do what they're supposed to do and bore them with Shakespeare and fry their minds with double equations? Which probably explains the huge drinking problem in youth at the moment. As always, there's a fight going on in society. Do you want free-thinking individuals or do you want obedient people? Schools are not intelligent institutions. They are trying to fix a very complex problem to do with the youth, with school uniforms. That is a treatment, not a cure. A cure gets rid of the problem. A treatment just pretends the problem isn't there anymore. Be proud of your school uniform. Be proud of your school. Have pride in yourself. Well, pride in the school and pride in the school uniform has nothing to do with myself. What it's trying to do is actually denigrate myself. If I wanted to have pride in myself, I'd be having experiences which brought out things inside of me which bettered me, which is the exact definition of what education is. Education is to bring out of, not to put in, not to put something on like a school uniform to mask something or to make something appear it's not there, or to give an illusion of something when it's not real. The school uniform is a lie. The uniform is an attempt to regulate the mind and the behavior through clothing. That is the power of clothing. When you wear the uniform, you become part of that system. You are forced to become part of the system and subjugate and submit yourself to it. People do like to rebel against the system and rebel against the uniform, since the uniform is a symbol of the system. And they go about it by not doing their tie up, leaving their button undone, not tucking their shirt in. But it gets slightly worse than this. It gets slightly worse because some people go so far against the system and the school uniform, like in Japan. It has been said that young girls go and prostitute themselves and have lurid pictures taken of themselves in their school uniform because people like it. In fact, the school uniform has become so perverted in the minds of some it is used as a sex tool and a sex aid. Of course, you just need to look at a couple of pictures of dirty teachers with canes and short ties and glasses. If the school uniform was so sacred and so important, why is it being inverted in this way? The uniform acts as a language. Speaking, painting, writing, poetry, they're all languages. A language is something that is used to express something about yourself. Clothes are another form of language. You use clothes to express things about yourself. If you want to speak to the system and the school, you can use your clothes to express your discontent with them, and people do, leaving a button undone or not putting your shirt into your trousers. But when you use that language, the school shuts you down, shuts you up, and punishes you. That is the same as closing down freedom of speech and freedom of expression. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up or please press the red button to subscribe. Thank you very much.